What is going on, Lego Maniacs? It's Tyler here, and today we're doing my entire Star Wars original trilogy minifig collection. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and we're going to be looking at some of my favorites and briefly going over all of the over 400 minifigs that are in this collection, which is kind of crazy, honestly. And then we also got my Hoth mock in here because I thought, you know what, with 40 years since we've had The Empire Strikes Back, it's appropriate to look at snow troopers and rebel troopers, on the mock itself. Anyways, really excited to get into this. Let me know what you guys think about this idea. Eventually, I might do my entire Star Wars minifig collection in a video. But enough talk, let's get right into it. And to begin, I thought we'd look at the original trilogy cast. I just thought I'd do this video for you guys that love the original trilogy. That way, you don't get any of the sequels or prequels, just where it all started. So to begin, let's first off take a look at all the many Luke Skywalkers. As you guys can see, there's over 20 of them. We have the Dagobah Luke, we got the Return of the Jedi Luke, we even have him in the Bacta tank when he gets his award. Just very nice looking minifigs. There's where he fights the basically the Jedi training droid, you know, the one that flies around. If you guys know the name, leave it in the comments. But it's where Luke takes a lightsaber and tries to deflect those laser blasts. Very, very nice looking minifigs. Here we have the very debatable, basically dual molded helmet. I personally like this helmet. I think it adds a little bit of diversity into the minifigs, but that's just me. Now we have all the Han Solos. A lot of Han Solos. His outfit doesn't change as much as Luke's, which is interesting. Some of my favorite ones, I mean, I love the authentic looking normal Tatooine Han Solo, which is all over here. But then we also have some Endor Han Solos. I love this one. He has kind of like an interesting looking trench coat. And believe it or not, this was the very first Han Solo. As you can see, he's yellowed over time. But that's what he looked like. That was the very first Luke Skywalker, along with the Endor Luke Skywalker, and obviously the Rebel pilot Luke Skywalker. And let's move on to some of the Chewbacca's. Chewbacca hasn't changed a whole lot. This was the first Chewbacca, only it was in the old brown. And that's the updated Chewbacca. These were more what the ones we're looking at that were back in 1999. Now we've moved on to Leia. We got Leia with no clothes on, and then Leia with a bunch of clothes on. The Hoth versions of Leia. So as you guys can see, it's changed quite a bit. Then we're moving on to some of the other cast. Now this, obviously, as you guys can see, is Lando Calrissian. I actually have some more Landos that are sealed. But you know what? We'll get into that maybe in our 2021 Star Wars minifig collection. I want to do these actually yearly. Let me know what you guys think about that. Then we have the C-3POs. Moving on, we have the many different Rebel troopers and their different designations. Now, a lot of people have speculated that they believe that this is Rex. I'm on board with that. But I'll just show you guys all the variations. Back in the day, they were making A-Wing and B-Wing pilots look like this. And then they updated them to these guys, which in my opinion look way better. Then we have some of the Rogue One minifigs. So just a spoiler, there is Mandalorian and Rogue One minifigs in this collection, just because they're close enough to the original trilogy that I thought it was appropriate. Here we have some other notable Rebel leaders. General Riken and Ten Noob. Admiral Akbar. Absolutely love these minifigs. I mean, minifigs are one of the best things about Lego. Here we have the Imperial Army. So I actually thought I had more Stormtroopers than this, but apparently I have only about 30 standard Stormtroopers, but still not bad. As you can see, these are some very worn out boys. These were all the way back from 1999. They're over 20 years old, which is kind of crazy. Anyways, love Stormtroopers. Here's a very kind of somewhat rare Shock Trooper. And then honestly, I love Sand Troopers. They're probably my favorite looking trooper. The one in the forefront, the one right here, is my favorite looking Sand Trooper. And these are the updated Scout Troopers. They absolutely look phenomenal. There is one more that's been made that's even more updated than these guys. But I still quite like these Scout Troopers. Moving on, we have some Death Troopers. Absolutely awesome. Some Shore Troopers. So many different variations of troopers. And now we've come to the Imperial Officers. Now, a lot of you guys don't really like Imperial Officers. I personally do, just because they kind of look awesome when they're all lined up like this. You just can imagine the Emperor, who's on the right, is just walking through all these guys. Now, back in the day, this is what the old Imperial Officers look like, and then they updated them to these guys. So as you guys can see, much more updated. These were actually the two that were included in the brand new UCS Star Destroyer. And the main difference really with them is that he has arm printing. So not the greatest exclusives, but still they're kind of cool looking Imperial troopers. Then we have some Royal Guards, absolutely love them. And all the different variations of the Emperor. So this is one of the more updated Emperors, which is pretty cool in the forefront. But then in the back, this is what the Emperor looked like back in the day. It's a lot simpler, but still captures that look. This is my favorite Darth Vader, and for one reason only. He has a light up lightsaber, absolutely love him. Let's look at a couple of the older versions of Vader. So this, right in the back, I'll just pull him out actually for you guys to see, was the very first Darth Vader from 1999. I actually got him in 1999. So this guy is over 20 years old. So absolutely awesome. Let's now move on to the back. Here we have all the astromech droids, which are mainly R2. But R2, believe it or not, actually has some variations. Like this was the 1999 version. These are the more common ones. I really like this one. This is the Dagobah one. As you can see, he has dirt on him, so it's when he's been shot out of that big sea monster. Moving on, we got some Imperial astromech droids. We have a medical droid, a rare, actually, protocol droid, which is pretty cool. The camera will update. Yeah, there you guys can see him as well. Then we have the different Jabbas. So this is the more current looking Jabba, and this was the old one back from 2003. Absolutely love Jabba. Here's some notable Tatooine figs, mainly gangsters and Tusken Raiders, Bith musicians, Jawas, Bib Fortuna. I love these guys. I mean, they just have there's the elephant dude in the back, the musician. His name's not coming to me right now, but here's some of the bounty hunters. So you can kind of see how they've kind of changed over the years too. This one right here is the very first Greedo, as well as the very first Boba Fett. And then these are the more current looking Boba Fett's, Greedos. Here's Dengar. There's just a lot of really looking Bosk, really cool looking minifigs. Then here's the Mandalorian. So I did say that he's going to be in this just because he falls sort of into this time period. Moving on, we cut some random Tatooine looking minifigs. And then these are the 20th anniversary Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan. I mean, nothing too crazy. Right here we have Han and Carbonite, Imperial Probe Droid. Here we moved on to some Rogue One and Solo minifigs. Very nice looking. They kind of fall into the same time period. And then here is an army of Ewoks. Absolutely love Ewoks. So in the beginning, this is what Ewoks sort of look like. And here's the more updated versions of Ewoks. So you can kind of see the difference. Here's an Ugnaught, a Rancor, and a Wampa. So I thought that these are big figs. I thought it was appropriate that they be in this video. Let's now move on to the massive, well, relatively big Hoth Mach. So I thought that this is appropriate that all the Rebel troopers be in here. So as you can see, let's first take a look at the Rebel soldiers. So we have some more notable looking Rebel soldiers on the left. At least they're more unique Rebel soldiers. The ones in the middle are just the standard looking. They came out of this Hoth battle pack, and there was a billion of them. And by a billion, I just mean extremely common, just because if you get a Hoth trooper in like a garage sale or something, it's most likely one of these two. Very common, but very cool looking nonetheless. I do believe that this might be Rex again. This was in the Assault on Hoth set. And then moving on, let's now go on to the Snowtrooper army. Absolutely love Snowtroopers. As you guys can see, we got a ton of these guys. And you may think that they're all identical. But what's actually very interesting about them is this one right here. no, this one right here. He's actually a commander, so he's actually very rare. He only came in one AT-AT, to my knowledge. And then we'll just move back. As you can see, there's not been a huge variation in the Snowtrooper. He started up in 2003. And this is basically the only difference between the old Snowtrooper and the new Snowtrooper. So as you can see, he has a cloth skirt piece on the newer one, which is interesting. And then he also has a built-in little backpack, whereas the one in the far left, he has just a one-piece backpack. And I like both of them, and I think they actually look pretty good together, as much as some minifigs don't. Moving on here, we have some of the AT-AT drivers, so very appropriate that they be in this Hoth mock. Here is the updated version, and here is the very first AT-AT driver back from 2003. Absolutely love this guy. He's actually worth quite a bit on eBay too if you try and pick him up. Anyways, those are all the minifigs. Let me know what you think about this video. Do you guys like this type of idea? Do you not? I hope to do more of them. Just, minifig collection videos and briefly look at all of them. But yeah, if you like this video, leave it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing and click that bell so you're notified for any future Lego minifig collections that I do. As well as if you're looking for mocks, check out my Hoth mock. Yeah, decent looking mock. Not the best, but definitely not the worst. And yeah, the mock actually has an AT-AT, a Star Destroyer, and a bunch more in it. I just had to clear those things to provide space for all the minifigs. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one.